frap am I supposed to do with these dadgum kids? They all think my business. They won't let me think. I can't even think about how to be a good parent. Like, you know what? They're going to daycare. That's it. You know what? Hey man, what's up, man? This is your boy Jay Zilla at What the Frap Podcast, and today we have a wonderful show. It's about childcare, the good, the bad, the ugly. Anyway, childcare, wages, all of this and more. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and I'm going to bring on a very special guest, one Monica Zelinsky. You see me cheat over there? I had to look at the name. Anywho, she'll be joining us in just a minute. But I'm trying to figure out exactly what am I supposed to do as a parent who needs to work because of how the wages are set up in this country. But I also need to raise a decent, socialized, adaptable human being. And I don't know how I'm going to do that in today's climate. So we're going to get into the weeds of that a little bit later. But first, I want to just tell you a quick story. We got, what was it? I can't even think of the word. I'm trying to sugarcoat this just a little bit. My wife and I had some issues with a daycare. We won't say their name because they're wonderful for what they do, but the ratios were kind of out of whack, and even the flexibility was pretty good, but we wanted more for our children. No offense to them. We walked into this place, Kid Academy. First of all, you drive up and you see the playground that has its own splash pad and, you know, turf, and then coverings for the because we're out here in the desert, but they have covers for the play area. We're like, okay, all right, you know, be cool, keep calm. We walk in, and the first thing I remember seeing was that fish tank. Oh my goodness, JJ and Jackson love staring at the fish. You know, like we do YouTube videos, that's how we do our nap times, everything. But man, when I tell you, we were shocked. We were just shocked, first of all, that a place like this even existed. Because I've been to daycares, I've seen other daycares. I've never seen a place like Kitty Academy of North Albuquerque, under the wonderful stewardship of Miss Lynn. So we go in and we get prices and everything. And we're just like, there's no way. There's no way. I was like, man, do I get a second job? Because I wanted this for our children. The school that our girls, who are 17 and 13 now, the school that they were in elementary here in Albuquerque, bless their heart, they tried. There were days where the heat and AC didn't work. And we're not going to even talk about the educational standards because they were definitely not up to our standards, let alone the state standards. But, you know, they're doing the best that they can with what they have. So we're caught again in this vicious cycle. So we decide, at the time I was at the University of New Mexico, and because I was at the University of New Mexico, I got to kind of pick and choose where our children got to go next. So we decided, you know, this was pre-pandemic, we decided to get our children in top 25 ranked across the country high school, you know, a top 25 in this state elementary school at the time for our other one, and of course Kitty Academy. My goodness, were my eyes open, along with my wife's, about just how different education can be when it's coming from a place of ample resources and quality. It was almost sad to see the difference. We came from a school who, hey, we don't have enough teachers, so we're going to have this teacher kind of float around different subjects that they're not prepared for. You know, as I said, sometimes the AC and heat did not work. We were constantly peppered with requests for basic necessities like paper, pencils, soap, tissue, like these sort of things. This is where we came from. And then we went to these other schools that challenged our children, who we all know to be very, smart, and their effort is really wonderful. So being in that sort of environment really pushed them to places that we didn't expect that they could even go. And because of that, when we had our youngest two boys, who were now 3 and 5, they were able to kind of we were able to kind of trickle that sort of thing down to them, and it was incredible. It's incredible what my now 5-year old can do because of just what he was around. My goodness, just from being around other smart kids with resources, it just changed all of our lives, and I think it's gonna change it even still. So, Kid Academy. We went from one place to another. We couldn't afford it. Thank the Lord, we were able to get some sort of, government assistance to pay part of the amount, which is a whole nother episode. It could be that process, man. It is strenuous, and we almost gave up a few times. We're like, what does daycare really matter, But then you watch places like a Kiddie Academy, and then you find out exactly what matters. So let's take a look.
Children's curiosity. It's an instinct, a drive to discover the world around them. But it takes more than the world to stimulate and shape them. It takes a learning approach informed by decades of experience in educational childcare, and a curriculum that exceeds state standards and is appropriate for the skills, knowledge, and abilities of a variety of age groups. Kiddie Academy prepares children for school and for life, and it begins with Life Essentials, a philosophy that encompasses a well-rounded, comprehensive curriculum that helps children develop into thoughtful, caring, adaptable individuals. We instill STEM education throughout our Life Essentials curriculum because children are naturally curious about how the world works. Our teachers encourage children to explore, discover, and experiment, to build confidence and think independently while they're playing and solving problems. Every experience is an opportunity for children to learn and socialize. We serve our nutritious meals and snacks family style to make the most of those opportunities. So children and teachers are not just eating together, they're sharing stories and moments. Character development is crucial to a child's growth. It instills and nurtures the values and habits that shape the people we become. Life Essentials turns moments of interaction into opportunities to learn and practice respect, cooperation, sharing, and forming friendships. We incorporate focused activity and playground time into each day because physical health is critical to brain development and linked to heightened memory and more focused learning. Our world is digitally driven, so we apply technology at the right time, at the right age, and where it makes the most impact, like using the latest software to increase computer literacy, all with the goal of making learning more engaging and fun. It takes highly trained and motivated teachers to bring our Life Essentials curriculum to life. To ensure mastery, we support our teaching staff with continued training and professional development that exceeds childcare service standards. We're always thinking about your child's safety, so all of our Kiddie Academies are secured with alarmed or parent-coded entrances and exits. And we closely track who picks up each child, ensuring they're only met by people authorized to do so. There really is no end to learning. There is only momentum. What starts in the classroom resonates out into a child's home, family, and in the community. Every day at Kiddie Academy, we use our techniques, focus, dedication, and curriculum to inspire children to do, imagine, discover, and be more. Call your local Kiddie Academy today to schedule a tour.
So there you have it, the wonderful, lovable Kiddie Academy, with their education standards and their social goals. Because you got to understand, in this country or any place, you have to, and I mean have to, make sure the children are okay and can move along in this world and be productive. So the children then turn into young adults who turns into the workforce and then turns into the leaders of this country. And those leaders take care of the elderly and the children, right, who can't take care of themselves, and everyone else, keeps trudging along. But what happens if the child doesn't develop well? Well, that's how you get one of the most incarcerated people in a country in the history of mankind. We have more people in prison right now than we do who were slaves before the start of the Civil War. You can't judge a country based off its top people. You have to judge it based off of what's perceived as the bottom, which we look at criminals all the time with judgmental eyes, and they would have just, fill in the blank there. But if you think about it, maybe it's society that failed them first. Can you imagine that? Being robbed by somebody and having the thought of, man, I should have paid more taxes because that could have helped this young person do something better with their lives, or even be aware that there is an alternative in their life. This is incredible. So, without further ado, I'm going to welcome to the show on such a, actually, this was a pre-recorded, what do you call it, interview, sorry, with one of the staff members there at Kitty Academy, the North. And I'm so happy that she got to do this. She did this on her lunch break. So, I don't know. Let's just check it out. So I guess I wanted to start with okay. So I labeled it the good, the bad, or the ugly, right? But I'm not even sure where to start. I guess tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do and why?
All right. Well, my name is Monica Zaleski. I have been working in childcare in preschool setting for the past 8 years. I was also, up until the pandemic, a karate instructor for ages 3 and up. I have a black belt in Taekwondo, so I've been doing it my whole upbringing. I've been, like I said, I've been doing this for about 8 years, working in a preschool setting. And I would say the reason I do it is because I love the chaos and fun of being around children all day. I have that special kind of crazy, I think.
Oh, that's great. The chaos and fun is often, people ask me sometimes, like, why, talk to me about being a parent. I'm like, it's the most rewarding, frustrating, cumbersome activity that you will ever do, and I highly suggest it to everybody.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. But I didn't know that you were a black belt. My goodness, I'm about to stop talking so much trash.
You don't talk trash. No, my dad had been doing martial arts his whole life. Like I said, up until the pandemic, he had his own school that we were all running together, our family, my stepmom, my brother, my little sister, we were all part of it. My son, my older son. I actually only got my black belt 4 years ago before I had my second son.
Oh, wow. See, I'm going to have you back to talk about just that. But for now, I know you have to get back, so we'll stay focused on childcare. First, do you find yourself, I guess staff-wise, sort of overwhelmed with the pressures of keeping that ratio? Like what is a good ratio for children to instructor?
Absolutely chaos. State has a certain ratio for every age group. So for example, in the infant room, technically according to state ratios, there could be one teacher to 6 babies. Now, us being working in child care and childhood education, we know 6 babies is a lot. Whether states think the state thinks it's appropriate or not, we know that it is a lot. So we do try to provide more help than what state recommends. So sometimes the infant room can have 6 babies and there'll be 2 assistants inside.
Okay.
Now, as far as the older classes, like the pre-K class, the 5-year-old class, I know the ratio is bigger because those kids are potty trained, they're feeding themselves, and that's a big deal, but that's 1 to 14. And that 14 children is a lot of children, so we do try to provide more than they need because 14 kids is a lot.
Yes. Well, you know, my 2 knuckleheads, JJ and Jackson, like they're a lot by themselves.
I was just in there with JJ doing a break in there, and we were doing Mr. Clown. I don't know if he's talked to you about it, but it's a song where they get to show us a trick. And JJ, he just throws himself about. I'm like, you look like you're breakdancing. I tell him all the time because he'll be on one arm spinning. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing that.
Well, he saw like a clip of a show, and it was I can't remember the name of it, but it was breakdancing. And so we've been watching these. So I try to let my children steer me as far as what they enjoy and what to watch and all that stuff. So we try to balance it to, hey, now I watch what you wanted to watch. Now it's time to watch what I want to watch. But if it's important to them, if it's interesting to them, my wife and I try to make sure to engage in it. And sometimes it's hard because it's like, oh, what is this? TikTok.
You're like, yeah, we'll watch Cocomelon.
Oh my goodness. Or I don't know, what's the movie? Encanto for the 19th time.
Listen, I'm having the same issue at my house. I have a 4-year-old that comes here as well, and we watched it like for a month straight. That's all that was on. So I would.
But at least it's good.
Yeah.
Right. So man, so just listen to hear you talk about the clown game, right? Like, let me talk to my audience real quick. Excuse me. So look, my children's daycare has like little hatchlings, right? Little ducklings. They have some fish, right? The fish is still hanging in there, right? The splash pad, all these different things and the activities and all kinds of things. Before this is pre-recorded, but you guys saw the video that I just played. It's incredible. So I guess my question is, like, we kind of worked our way up to Kitty Academy, right? We started off, I'm from Tennessee, same as my wife. We both got jobs and worked our way up to being able to afford it. I mean, even with assistance, it's still pretty costly for us. Why is it not, if we know and the government knows that these things are important in child development, and child development is important for society, why isn't every child care system built like yours?
Oh man, I know. It's funny that you say that. So before I worked here, I actually toured the center for my son. Before I even thought, like I said, been working in preschools. I was working at a different preschool. I toured the center and I was like, what a fantastic facility this is, but we couldn't afford it because it's a kind of high end. And unfortunately, after setting foot in Kitty Academy, you see other daycares and they kind of don't compare.
Right.
And I know like I said, I was a preschool teacher up until January. I was a teacher in the 3-year-old classroom, and since moving up, Lynn and I have been trying to go above and beyond to do different things. So we did just hatch ducklings. We did the whole 28-day incubation period. I have 5 ducklings in my office that I did take home this weekend because I'm a crazy person. I absolutely loved it. But we're trying to find different ways to connect to the community, in ways that maybe haven't been done before. So we have been going on Facebook Live and stuff like that. But also, I had a parent the other day that said, how come the things that are a necessity in our life are so expensive? because after having a tour and getting the prices, he was just like, oh man, But I think that
Right.
could be more true. Like everybody needs child care. Everybody needs to work to survive.
Right.
And I mean, you would think because it's needed that it would be easily accessed by everybody. I do know that lower income families, are able to get those child assistant contracts and stuff. But
Right.
even Lynn and I were talking not too long ago about, us working through the whole pandemic and being, still paying for childcare. And, we don't have the assistance that, other people might have, even though we're working and have been working. And as everybody knows, childcare doesn't pay very well. So, these are conversations we have often.
This is true. This is true.
Mhm.
My goodness, I'm looking at some of the numbers here. I try to do some quick research before I jumped on with you. Um, like the idea of possibly paying. I mean, this is something that's being debated currently. Possibly paying one stay-at-home parent in order to raise the child and do so under the guidelines of the state, which can be invasive, but at the same time, I think that would help a lot of people.
Mhm.
And numbers that are being thrown out there are ridiculous. I mean, we're talking six figures,
Wow.
right? Because they're including like, I can't remember how the lady said it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play this for you. Let's see how if I can get this right. There it is. There, a little bitty of a key, right. And go.
All right, lunch. Just one of the many jobs that stay-at-home parents do for free. But if they earned a salary, how big could it be? It's time for What's Blogging. Every day, we've got a panel of bloggers, authentic voices in the parenting world with stories and perspectives not going to hear anyplace else. Today, we have got the Heather Armstrong, 1.5 million Twitter followers, the mom behind news.com. Heather, so glad to have you. And we've also got the fabulous Denise Albert and Melissa Gerstein, aka the mom. All right, ladies, first up, stay-at-home parents. I'm talking to you. I know you don't get a salary, but if you did, it would be more than $100,000 a year for all the work that you do. That's according to a new study. We got the scoop from modernmom.com. You cook, you clean, you help with homework, you're a chauffeur, a counselor. Add all that up, you're working 90 plus hours a week, not making a dime. So ladies.
Whoa.
Right. Right. And it sounds crazy until they start talking about the actual, what you stay-at-home mothers or we stay-at-home fathers do, right?
Yeah.
Over 90 plus hours a week. There are no vacations, right? Unless you can, sucker your the grandparents or somebody, or save money. So, what are your thoughts and opinions, I guess, on that? On possibly the government having a set of standards and paying one stay-at-home parent to be with the child?
I feel a little conflicted, but let me tell you why.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was a stay-at-home mom for 5 years with my firstborn until he went to kindergarten. I didn't start working, and I was pretty lucky to have that opportunity. And it's right, there are no breaks. The moment you open your eyes and they're there, you're with them until they go to bed at night, and that might be late. And if they're up in the middle of the night, if they're sick, you're doing all the doctor's appointments. They're going with you shopping. They're there while you're doing all the essential things. And part of me is like, that's kind of cool, because you know what? That is one of the jobs that is, it doesn't get the appreciation I think that it deserves. Because it is hard work, and a lot of people will be like, well, you just stay home all day. How hard can it be? And you're like, trade lives with me, please.
Just try for a week. No, 3 days. 3 days.
I'll
Try
take
for
a
3 days.
24-hour period. Like, I would like a nice solid rest.
Right.
And I think that's cool. And I know there are some people who can't work. However, when it comes to these kinds of things, I kind of wish that there were programs that would help pay people who or like help people who do work and are still barely getting by. Like I was saying earlier, there's all these assistance programs for people who don't work or low income families, which I think is great and is necessary. And then there's people, like I said, like myself, who I am paying for childcare, and I've been working this whole time, working in childhood industry. I'm not probably getting as paid as well as people might think.
Right.
And there's no assistance programs for people who are working and like still barely getting by. So I don't know. I'm a little 50-50.
I hear you. And so I hear a lot of people say, what about the qualifying parents for the fully refundable credit, tax credits, right? I think currently we have had an increase from 2,000 to 3,000 per child under 18, and 3,600 for any child under 6 years of age. But when you start adding up the cost of having children, that seems almost laughable. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. No, you know what? I think, being a parent, all your money goes to providing for your family. Being a family, that's what it goes towards. Your food, it goes towards your home, it goes towards clothing, necessities, diapers, formula, whatever you might think. I don't know. I think we're just also in a part, like everybody always wants a little more than they have. It's just being a human, I guess.
Right. Well, you always think if you have more, you can do more, right?
Right.
So for me, where I came from, my little city down back in Tennessee, like being able to go to McDonald's twice a week, we thought that's what rich people did.
Yeah.
Okay. So like the ideal of like, whenever my mom did have enough to, being a single parent, whenever she did have enough to take us to like a Golden Corral type place, we were like, oh man, where's my Sunday shirt? Like get my little shirt and tie on. Yeah, it felt like it was like, the height of luxury, And then you get older. And then you start seeing other people's walks of life and like, oh no, were we broke? The answer, of course, is yeah, you were.
Absolutely, we sure were.
Yeah, but the idea, I guess this can be the last, next to last question, because I have a running show question I have to ask everyone.
Sure.
So the last question, the pushback from the government officials who are having this debate currently is, you pay the husband, like the wife should stay at home and the husband should get paid enough to take care of both, or vice versa, right? The wife is the working person and the husband can stay home. But the idea that the wages have not matched up for decades is ridiculous. To give you an example, like productivity and pay once trended upwardly together, right? They were kind of locked in. But recent decades, productivity and pay have diverged. I mean, and not even by a little bit. Monica, when I tell you that the net productivity grew about 59.7% from 1979 to 2019, according to the EPA data, but the wages only grew about 15.8%. So we literally have priced ourselves out of being able, having one parent go to work and be able to afford a home, a couple of cars, child care, and everything, all the bells and whistles. Like we had that in this country at one point, but something changed along the lines there where productivity increased tremendously, but the wages kind of flatlined. So how do we combat something like that?
I don't know, but when you let me know. I'm just kidding.
Deal. We'll figure this out together.
I'm gonna tell you, it's a little defeating sometimes when I drive. And I appreciate everybody's work. If you're gonna go do something, and that's what you want to do, absolutely 100%. again, this is just circling back to me saying that childcare workers don't get paid enough. But I can't tell you how defeated I get when I drive past, a McDonald's and I see their starting pay might be as much as I get paid to be a boss in an office. Especially until Kitty Academy, because Aleem, the owner here, is pretty wonderful. And
absolutely, shouts to him.
Before coming here, I had 8 years experience. I have a CDC. I have a 45-hour course. I have my CPR certification. All this experience. I'm currently going to school for my associates. I was getting paid $12 an hour.
Oh my goodness, $12
to be a full-time teacher.
You get $12.50 at Taco Bell.
You get $15.50 at
Oh right, they had that increase. That's right, and they are paying some of the managers at Taco Bell. It's sort of an experiment from that company in particular, but they're paying some of the managers, store managers, 6 figures, which is just like to make some tacos.
There, you have to, and I say to everybody, like, it has to be your passion if you're working in childcare.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Maybe the money doesn't meet, but I feel like I am rewarded with my work. I do love being on kids all day. So, it's not for everybody. We know that seeing people come in and out of the doors from working, you either have it or you don't, and there's no in between. And you either accept, the pay, you accept what you get, you accept the moments, and being around kids and feeling rewarded by that, and you're happy. I'm happy where I am. Do I get a little frustrated sometimes seeing that things like that out there, like to be paid more to be doing something with no experience? Absolutely, but I'm not going to stop. I will still be here. I still go to school for being, around children. I will be around them probably for the rest of my days. There's no doubt about that.
That's incredible. I'm just, again, I can't get over the fact that wages have flatlined and basically forced people to be so overwhelmed and bogged down with, rent and the regular necessities in this country, right? In this country, that you don't even have time to think about whether or not, is childcare something a field I want to be a part of, right? Is it really for me? Because you just have to get out there and find a job. And nobody's thinking along the lines of career anymore. I need to find a job, right? So with my paperwork and my wife's paperwork, I had to find a job because this lady looked at me in my face and said, "Your career, we don't count it." It's like, okay. So I have to go find a job, and I found a job at $10.50 to care for a person.
Yes.
A person.
Yes.
I mean, wheelchair bound. They need help with cooking, cleaning, bathroom, all these sort of things. $10.50 an hour. And I just I'm trying to figure out where they came from. But look, I don't want to get too down. You're wonderful. I learned something today. I appreciate that. Final question. Here it is. If you were a car personified, what make or model would you be and why?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would be my very first car, a 1996 purple Mercury Sable, because I'm run down, I'm tired. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know.
Oh, I'm glad you understand the question, but oh my goodness, come on. You're better than that.
Honestly, these days I feel just like my current vehicle, which is a 2021 Willys Jeep. I feel like I'm pretty durable, and I'm ready for adventure, and I'm a little messy sometimes, but still a little rough and tough, I'd say.
I love it. Thank you so much. This lady joined me on her lunch break to fill in for another person last minute. Miss Monica Zielinski of Kitty Academy, Northwest, right?
Yeah, North Albuquerque. Yep.
North Albuquerque. Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely, and we'll see you later.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye, have a good day.
You too. All right. And there you have it.